Hello, and welcome to another episode of Macca in Your Attic, a Paul or Nothing spin-off show where my guest today is going to show me their junk. Get your minds out the gutter, everyone. Today, me and my guest are going to go through their attic, as it were, and they're going to show me 5 strange, interesting, rare, valuable, sentimental, or maybe even just slightly cool items from their collections, each hopefully with a moderately unique story. Fortunately, the format requires the guest to be much more prepared and interesting than me, so I get to have a lot of fun and learn along with you folks. Today, I'm joined once again, actually, by someone who I've really been remiss in not having on the podcast previously. He's an eminent figure in the Beatles' new media world, one of the hosts of the Talk More Talk podcast, one of my absolute favourites, and is the proprietor of the notorious Mean Mr Mayo YouTube channel. No prizes for guessing who it is. Everyone, please welcome Mean Mr Mayo. Joe, welcome to the show. Thank you for coming on.
Hello, Sam. Thank you so much for having me here. This is going to be a lot of fun. I know it.
No, you can tell, being the veteran host I am of this show, a lot about the whole episode and the way it's going to go just from the background of the guest. And folks, I mean, we could probably do a whole episode just on this still screenshot of Joe right now. We'll go from left to right. I can see "Good Night Tonight" up in the corner there.
That's autographed, yeah.
Solo Lennon.
Not by Paul.
Oh my gosh, we've got some rock and roll down in the bottom right. We've got some Ringo stuff. Too much, Joe. But tell me, when did you start collecting Beatles stuff?
Well, let's see. I want to say that I started collecting, and I still have some things from back then, around 1976, 75. That's when I was really starting to get into it, when I was really, really young. And I have some artifacts from those days. I don't think any of the things I'm going to show here today are that old that I've had them, that is. Yeah, that's when I really started. And then in recent years, I'd say like the last about 10 years now is when I really started speeding it up even more, because I got back into vinyl. I had been out of vinyl for many years when CD came in, and I'd gotten rid of a lot of vinyl, including Beatles and solo Beatles vinyl. But yeah, but fear not, because in the past 10 years that I've gotten back into it, I've gotten it all back again, just about 99% of it, and in even better shape and better cared for than I originally did. Phew.
Fantastic. No, there is a certain point in your Beatle collecting days when you go from kid money to adult money, and it's like, right, it's time to kick this up a notch now. Let's really start expanding. A question I have a lot of fun asking: does anyone else in your family collect stuff? Does anyone else have a bug like you do?
Let's see. I'm trying to think now. Well, I have 2 nephews and a niece. My younger nephew, well, I say younger, he's going to be 30 this year, at the end of the year. Oh, wow. But anyway, he's really into vinyl. You know, he's gotten into vinyl, and I started him off with Beatles stuff. I gave him some Beatles stuff doubles and things that I had. He loves Beatles, and he loves the Ram album, his favorite Paul album. And yeah, he collects vinyl, but of course, with time, he moved on, and he, delves into newer artists too. He doesn't just stay with Beatles. But well, I tried to start him off the right way.
There was music after the Beatles. No one told me. I mean,
yeah, right. Nobody told you that, huh? I think there's a song called "Nobody Told Me," if I'm not mistaken, somewhere along the line.
Nobody knows, surely.
That's another one.
So tell me, what were some of the highlights or tribulations of collecting in the pre-internet world?
Oh, yeah. Well, it's funny. I mean, I'm looking at a poster here that you can't see. One of the oldest things I still have from then. It's a 1964, I think. They call it a life-size Beatles poster. Maybe you've seen it. It's an orange background, and the 4 Beatles are standing there, not quite life-size, but pretty large, and their gray collarless suits, kind of like resting their hands on each other's shoulders. And like in those days, I would go to flea markets, which I still do, but record stores. You just had to get lucky if you saw something, right? There it was. You picked it up. You didn't have, obviously, the internet. You didn't have the ability to just scroll and say, "Oh, I want that. Okay, I'll buy it now," like that, or bid, right? But of course, a lot of older people might tell you that in some weird ways that was a lot more fun in a way. It's always, even today, it's more fun. You just happen to be somewhere and you see something and you're like,
Mm.
oh, and you buy it on the spot. It's always a little more exciting as a collector, I think, than, you know, searching on eBay or something
Hmm.
and typing it in and there you go. So it was, but it wasn't easy to find the things you wanted. If there was a certain record, for example, that you're looking for, you'd have to hope you see it in a shop or a garage sale or something. These days, you just go on Discogs, I suppose, or
Hmm.
I did that for a couple. I don't spend a lot of time on Discogs, but I did do that for a couple of items that I used to have in the aforementioned earlier Beatles collection that
Nice.
doesn't exist anymore. That I wanted to fill in a few holes, specifics, and you just got them like that.
The idea that could be a world where there's not a Wikipedia article telling me an artist's entire discography, it,
Hmm.
that is a terrifying prospect, I must admit. Just not
Yeah,
knowing what to get. Like how do you know if you've completed it or not? You know?
yeah. I guess you had to just follow the books. That's where books like All Together Now,
Hmm.
which was the first book that I recall, I think, having around 75,
Hmm.
by Wally Podrazik and Castleman. I believe that was, still valuable for information. In fact,
Hmm.
today, to tell you the truth, even with all the ease we have of the internet, if I really have to look something up and I need a chronology or something in
Hmm.
order of release, I'll usually go on the shelf and get the book. I don't know why.
Nice.
So I still use it. That one particular book.
No, you have to. I mean, anyone that's done any type of modern schooling knows how teachers will just drill into your brain that Wikipedia doesn't count, internet sources don't count. You've got to read the books, and I guess that's why with Paul or Nothing, I've basically treated every episode like a university essay where I've got a little bibliography at the bottom and a little objective up at the top. That's just the way I kind of like to do things. What's your local record store scene like? I mean, did you have many good shops available?
Well, yeah, I guess I'm blessed in a way, and I take for granted because I have about five shops that are in fairly close distance, more or less. That I mean, like drivable distance. That
Hmm.
not I'm drivable. I mean, you can drive 2 hours, right? That's drivable. But I mean, say under an hour,
Wow.
uh, something like that. Some of them a half hour. And anyway, and I'm very lucky because my main store has a lot of stuff coming in now and then that I need to add to my collection. Although over the years, the more you get, the less you need, I suppose. Though you never completely finish collecting Beatles stuff. There's always everybody's got a different collection. You could have 10
Hmm.
collectors, and everybody's got stuff that other people don't have, and vice versa. Right? But yeah, the thing is, you go around and you look and you try to see what you find, and I feel sorry when I do that in a way because I take it for granted because there's so many people who live maybe in the sticks, I call it, or whatever,
Hmm.
or oh,
Middle of
I
nowhere.
don't have a
Yeah.
record store around me or 3 hours away, and whatever they have, they have. I take for granted all the things that come in. A lot of people looking for certain Beatles picture sleeves, 45s, they can't find them, and I see them all the time. For example. You
Hmm.
know.
Yeah, like whenever I go to a record store here in the UK, there is a temptation to go like, oh, another copy of The Spies Like Us, 7 inch or something like that, like or the 12 inch even, or
Yeah.
another copy of Get Back or Hey Jude. Why isn't there a picture disc of Good Night Tonight here or something? But the fact that I've got weirdly in the last 2 years, 3 years, I've, three new record stores have actually opened up within probably about an hour for me as well. There is one Swordfish Records here in Birmingham, which has been here since the 60s. And every time I go in, there are brand new Beatles singles. I don't know where he gets them from. I don't know how he dredges them up, but I'll always leave with something new. And you're right. The knowledge of knowing exactly what you're going to buy online is very handy if you are a completionist. But if you're having fun with collecting, just going into the shop and just doing that for half an hour.
Yeah.
Ooh, they've got that. That's fun. Then you make a little
Right.
pile, and then you decide what you can actually afford. It's a fantastic
Mm.
process. I really do enjoy it. Um, are there any items that have eluded your grasp? Anything slipped through your fingers?
Well, a couple of things that I think one of them that comes to mind. I forget the exact title of it, but it's from '64 and it's by George Harrison's sister Louise, and it was an early album about I don't know. I don't remember the name of it, but it's by Louise Harrison Caldwell, I think her name. And a copy came in that was kind of, I mean, mint. It was sealed. It was never opened, and I just didn't have the cash at the time to get it, so somebody bought it. That annoys me. And then there was another one, the Beatles with Frank Ifield on stage. There were a couple of those, but different looks to it. The
Mhm.
one I'm talking about is called the portrait cover. It has the gray suits, and
Okay.
it's been heavily counterfeited. It's on VJ Records, and if you get that one that's not a counterfeit in really nice condition, I don't think I would have the money for that. I mean, really, even though I can buy a George Harrison All Things Must Pass Uber box set, putting it on on time. This some of the prices of these portrait covers in the
Mm.
gray suits originals are pretty hefty priced. But those are two that I've wanted, still want for a long time.
Ever been tempted to pick up a butcher cover? That's the kind of generic holy grail of Beatles collecting, I
Yeah, well,
guess.
I did have one at one time. The thing is, I've gotten to the point where I like them when they're still pasted over. First of all, they're becoming more rare to be pasted over because everybody seems to peel them. So
Hmm.
finding them with the paste over is more unusual. And I had one, but eventually I sold it only because it wasn't really in great shape to begin with.
Hmm.
And I know I'll get a better one down the line. But what I like about the paste over one is the fact that you look at the white area on the side and you can see Ringo's black, I guess you call it a V part
Hmm.
of his shirt under the smock. And you could see his hair. He's got that little Dutch boy haircut. Or I call it a lampshade haircut around that period. And there's something thrilling about it to me to look at it and go, there it is. It's buried treasure. It's under there. I look at it, I can see it. I like that a lot more than just peeling it. I think in the old days, when old days are like the '70s, to have one peeled would be really amazing because you didn't see them that often. But
Hmm.
now it's a common sight, really, and meaning you can see them like in the U.S. Rarities album has a gatefold with it. You can
Hmm.
buy again bootleg copies of it that look like the real thing, and frame it. I have one in a frame somewhere of a fake one, but it looks good, so I have it framed. So see, having it just for the novelty of being able to actually see it in all its glory, that doesn't apply anymore to me. It's not just a matter of that anymore. I'd rather have it pasted over.
Fair enough. You've sold it. You've sold me. I want to.
Oh,
I want to paste over one now. And
and
if
they're cheaper. Paste over, I think, are usually cheaper. I think.
I
I
imagine
don't know.
so.
Depends who's selling it. I guess you could charge anything you want.
That's funny. What do you think
Mhm.
about what do you think about the modern McCartney, Beatles, Harrison, Lennon product line that we've got going at the moment? Are you feeling the pressure? Are you feeling the pinch, or are you saying bring it on? Let's have more out.
Well, I keep telling people, I'm not wealthy. This is a tiny room. You don't have a big place here. We rent a small place, and hopefully someday I'm going to be getting not buying a house, but renting a house. It'll be bigger.
Hmm.
I could fit stuff in it more. But as far as the product goes, yeah, I say bring it on. But I like it to be spaced
Yeah.
a little bit so we have time. Now I'm still working. I'm a working man, and
Hmm.
a year from now, I hope I'm going to not be working anymore. Now, if I don't work anymore, I'm going to be on a very v- fixed income, and I'm not going
Hmm.
to have as much. That remains to be seen. But as far as the actual quality of the stuff, starting with, I love what the John Lennon camp is doing. I think Paul Hicks is doing some amazing work on the mixing he's doing. Of the John stuff, and I think it's always pretty good value for the dollar for the John stuff, and uh, I think that George's stuff is really slow in coming out, the new stuff. But now we're recording this at a time where you're going to have the All Things Must Pass 50th finally. We're still right. We're still waiting for
$1,000. $1,000.
Yeah, yeah. I'm getting it for under that, but even that's going to be a little at a time, so they're coming around a little bit. As far as Paul and Ringo, well, let's just start with Ringo. I love Ringo stuff. I mean, I'm a Ringo fan, and I just think since he got himself sober like over 30 years ago and really dedicates himself to the music, and he's more focused. I really like what he's been doing in recent years. And Paul is, I think, I just love his stuff. I think McCartney 3 is a very good album. I don't know what you think of it. I really enjoy it. I just am very impressed, and I think he's come into his voice, his modern voice. He's writing more for his voice. And of course, talk about product, right? Well, we know how much product Paul's camp has put out. How many copies? I got them up there, right, somewhere over here.
Oh,
These boxes of this. I got like about several of those. They display nice. They look nice. The 3 dot. Another colored vinyl. I bought a bunch of those. But yeah, I think he's been doing great artistically. I've loved his product or the music from, like, I'd say since even not Driving Rain. Oops, scratch that. I'm not a Driving Rain fan, if you didn't know, but that's the only album that I think. But from Flaming Pie up,
yeah,
I pretty much I've been pretty impressed with everything. I think that for me personally, individually, Driving Rain I think is my least favorite Paul album. But other than that, I mean, I'm just very happy with what the man is still doing, and he doesn't stop. And that's just incredible. Thank God we still have Paul to do that.
Oh no, he's really carrying the kind of collecting torch. Like, I mean, some people find it kind of controversial, all these editions he's putting out. But I've said before on this show, if you don't want to buy it, don't buy it, because there is 20 other people who probably wanted to buy it who couldn't buy it. And
right.
It's only once we run out of those people will McCartney's camp actually start considering not releasing this stuff. I mean, more power to him. Like, there seems to be an awful kind of communist idea that, like, McCartney's earned enough money now, he should redistribute all of his wealth to other lesser musicians. It's like, no, if he wants to put out the Violet edition of McCartney 3 and people want to buy it, that's capitalism, baby. More power to him.
I agree with you. I mean, don't get me wrong. I try to be fair. I try to see things from both sides usually, and in a way, I do say, "Oh, this is ridiculous. It's too extreme. It's out of control." I do think that, but again, nobody's forced.
I'll have 8 copies, please.
And nobody, of course, nobody's forcing you, to buy them. Any of them, or let alone all of them. And of course, we know that the idea is that we're going to have diehards out there like myself that have to have everything. But then again, I want to be clear. I always tell everybody, I don't literally have everything. First of all, in some cases, you can't find everything, can't afford everything. And there's some things I just choose to pass up. I chose to pass up, for example, the suitcase version of Egypt Station trinkets. I passed that up.
Good lad, good lad.
So if I ever saw it for 200 versus 400, whatever it was, I passed it up. So I like to have this stuff that coming out, and I think it's amazing how much fun there still can be, and for younger fans too, new generations, even younger than both of us. I mean, there are youngsters that are really having a good time and enjoying collecting Paul stuff and Ringo and whatever they can get of John and George.
I wonder if there's ever going to be a period in the modern vinyl revival where we're going to have reprints of singles. That's something that has never been discussed. Oh, McCartney's like re-releasing, Venus and Mars. You gave me the answer. Buy it now, and it's going to come in 17 different editions.
Well, if they do, I would rather it come out with a new kind of release with a new photo. Because I have the thing, I'm not really wild about strict reissues. An example I would give is just say the United States Beatles Capitol 45 sleeves. People say, or even the albums. Why don't they come out with a brand new set of all the mint new brand new repressings of the Capitol albums in the U.S. and also the 45s, and I said, well, it kind of takes a little away from the originals. I think that's just how I feel. I felt the same way even when they put out the wonderful Beatles and Mono UK LP set. It was beautiful, and the sound was great. They did a great job, and it's just a little anal thing about me. I'm like, people look and say they're holding a copy of Please Please Me, and they're saying, look at this, it's the gold Parlophone label. It mint, you can't get this, it's beautiful, you'll never see this, it's the only way to get it mint. Yeah, but it's not the real thing. It's a facsimile. It's nice, but it's a facsimile. That's just me.
You know what? No matter how nerdy you think you are as a Beatle fan, there's always someone out there who is even nerdier than you are.
Nerdier person. Yes.
That's very funny. No, it's funny how there's been an increase in the price of a lot of this modern Beatles stuff, obviously culminating in the George Harrison set, nearly $1,000 minus 1 cent. And I feel like they are pushing the boat out. They're like, let's see how far we can push this. Let's see if we can release Ringo's rotogravure for $7,000.
Oh, well, I don't know. I love Ringo personally, but I don't think he's there as well. You see, this thing, at least with the George Harrison release, this Uber set with the box and everything, at least it's All Things Must Pass.
Yeah.
I don't know if Gontrapo had the same treatment if I would do it. I don't know.
It's got circles,
Well, that's my least favorite. One of my least favorite tracks on it. I know it's terrible to say that, sacrilege, but
no, it's definitely part of that. Hey, do you remember when George Harrison forgot he was the lead guitarist and he was trying to do keys for like a whole year? It's definitely that phase. I'm not holding.
But the Harrison estate, I think, from what I can see, seems to be the most over the top with prices. I think, from what I've seen, and that includes there was the George Harrison box of LPs. Again, we're talking about reissues. And what I like best I didn't get that either. That's something else I chose to pass up. It was pretty expensive, and also I really like the box. Is what I like. I don't know if you saw it. The actual Harrison box that the LPs come in is what I liked about it best. The other ones I got, again, I'd rather have the albums themselves, records, on the original presses. A nice, really nice, crisp copy, best I can find it. That's my thing. And it's not that I don't ever buy reissues. Lord knows I have reissues back there. I certainly do. But a lot of times I'll pass them up.
Could you imagine if the Beatles had a back catalogue like McCartney where they could do the archive re-releases, like, and there's 8 new Beatles songs on each of these re-releases as well. And I'm not just talking, Susie Parker or whatever, like proper. No. These are unreleased, fully composed, George Martin produced Beatles songs.
Oh, wow.
And the best you can get with the Beatles re-release is, we've got some studio banter. Is that worth $8,000? Yeah, it is, because we'll pay for it. It is.
Yeah. Well, I love, my whole thing is when it comes to that kind of stuff, I love studio outtakes, different versions of the songs, mostly the early Beatles stuff. I mean, later on when they got more sophisticated, they would just, put down just the music track and then add a vocal. No, I'm talking about takes. When they do just takes, 6 takes of Misery or something like that, and they go through them all and there's breakdowns and screw it. I love that stuff. That's what I live for. It's just why I really hope one day they go back, which I think they have to, and give us the equivalent of what they've done for Sgt. Pepper and White Album and Abbey Road and so on.
Or the anthology.
And give us the earlier ones. Oh, the anthology.
Yeah. I mean, anthology revisited, expand. Because come on, are you telling me that can't be 3 times bigger? Come on.
It was bigger. There were some, I don't know what, I hate using that word, unofficial versions of it available. Yeah, they cut it down a ways. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's always stuff I could use.
I couldn't imagine being a Beatle fan when the anthology came out. It must have been indescribable, really.
Oh yeah, that was exciting. Yeah, it certainly was. And we got it on television around here, but that was a big event. But I was waiting for the home video release, and then I went from a VHS cassette versions to DVD sets, and they've never been on Blu-ray. Yeah, I'm still a physical media guy. Could you tell? Could you tell?
Well,
But yeah, I love physical media.
This is the thing about Let It Be, though, because I mean, if you look at the last 4 big Disney properties released on Disney Plus, which would be The Mandalorian and the 3 Marvel superhero shows, none of them have a DVD release yet. And we know that there's going to be some kind of archive re-release of Let It Be, independent of The Mouse and Walt. But I'm a little worried that we're not going to get a concurrent, release on Blu-ray and DVD as quickly as we might have, say, if Universal or Warner Brothers had produced this. So Disney, if you are watching this, which I know you are, this is a premiere show. Please release some physical media for this, all 6 hours, maybe like a Peter Jackson extended edition where it's 12 hours. Go on.
Well, I can understand your trepidation about it. I have the same concerns, but I think it's a no-brainer. The Beatles are going to be big as far as they want to make money, right? Money. And one thing that I keep in mind, and I'm pretty much sure this is going to happen, once they air this thing or whatever it is, I say air, sound like my grandparents, talking. When you have the app or whatever you stream it or whatever you call it, once they do this thing, make it available, people are going to be not me. I know you don't believe me, but I don't do that. But I have enough suppliers out there, people that I do get them from. A lot of those you can't see by my head there. I got right there. I got a lot of those black ones. There's those, Beatles stuff. There are people that are going to be copying them. There are going to be people that are going to be selling them. So if you're not going to put it out, Disney or Apple or whoever, somebody's going to, and I'll get it. We'll get it, so one way or the other.
Well,
so put it out, and you don't let you put it out, and put it out with more incentive, a little more bonus, a little more oomph, and take the game right away from those pirates.
Yeah, we are willing to pay if you give us a tiny little bone. Just throw us a little something, and we will pay right out of the rear end every single time. Right. I think it is time that we looked at your first item, Mr. Mayo. Let's have a look.
Yeah.
Show me your attic.
Okay. I actually have 8 items here. I know you said 5, but I can go through some of them fast. They don't have a story, some of them. So
yeah, go on.
All right, let me start this one that doesn't really have a story to it. This is a Remco. We've all seen these, I'm pretty sure. The scary looking Paul McCartney.
It's nightmare inducing, isn't it? That's fantastic.
It's like Chucky.
It does look like it could steal a child's soul. You're right.
I'm not going to take it out of the box because it's a pain getting it in again. But this is not an original box. Look how bad it is. It's a reproduction and it's very light, faded. It's not very good. Yeah, but I think the boxes are harder to get than the dolls. These are fairly simple to get, I think.
I love.
So I figured I'd start with some Beatles related stuff, then I'll go to a few solo things more or less. Okay. Here's an item I like, and I'm leaning towards Paul with these. So this is a cube. It's a Let It Be cube cardboard, and it's from the official Beatles fan club, New York. And it's vintage from '69, I guess, right, or '70. And it's got one on each side there, probably 70-ish.
I never knew I wanted a cube so much in my life. I need.
And this was just an item I happened to find at my record store. It has a couple of holes on the top that are still not punched out. You probably won't be able to see them. There's little, very tiny holes there.
God. Yeah.
And you're supposed to punch them, I guess. And there's this little, you can put a wire in there or something and it's supposed to hang and just like a mobile and just spin, which so far I just have it on the shelf. I haven't wanted to puncture it yet.
It would lose value. Do never puncture it. You'll lose the cardboard,
Now I'll show you something that these do have some punctures in there, but I want to tell you the story about this first. This has a little story, okay? My record store, they get stuff in from time to time. Now, one day I went in there and they have a section, like a garbage box where they go through records, old records that they get in collections, and they see Beatles records all the time, like U.S. Capitol records and Apple. And if they're scratched up or ripped or something, that they can't sell them even for $1 or anything. They just throw them in there for garbage. And sometimes people will look through the garbage, right? So one day I go in there and I see garbage, and one of them is the U.S. Let It Be Apple standard album. But the cover's mangled, and I look at the record inside, and you can't even look at it, much less play it. But what my store owner did not know, he didn't look inside, and I did. And I feel like,
you have the poster, did it?
No poster.
Oh,
But these are not really related to Let It Be. But whoever owned the album previously had these in there, and they're like original.
Oh my God.
Original 1964 or so, 3. I don't know. George Harrison one has a little chunk taken out of the bottom, but wait, look, I got them for nothing, and these are pretty cool to have for nothing. Now we have an interesting relationship, my store owner and I. We joke around all the time, and I told him after the fact, I told him about this. Hey, they were in the garbage. You threw them out, pal. But so
excellent.
What? Eventually, I want to frame these, maybe.
Definitely. Like all 4 of them in a row. Are you kidding me? That's a conversation starter.
Radio. Let's go on to some solo stuff. My favorite thing to collect these days are like promotional items, and this is not in the greatest of conditions, but it's the Pipes of Peace, the Paul stand-up. And you got the cassette in there.
This is the second Pipes of Peace stand we've had on this show now.
Are they showing this one?
Not that one. It was another one. Hang on. If you've got another one, it might be.
No. That's the only thing I was worrying about the show. I said, well, how many? I know Tom Hunyadi had stuff that I was going to show, and I said, no, well, I don't want to repeat stuff, and he doesn't. I don't want to take steal his thunder either. So now the only thing you probably can't tell here on this, but this is not the cassette. Cassette is faded, but I have another one. This is what am I doing? This I can't do it. This is dark.
Wow, yeah.
It's darker. This is just a cassette, that I could always change it in here, but who cares? It's fine. So yeah, but see, the reason I like these kind of standy things is because every day I can enjoy them. I can look at them, posters, promotional stuff. You get use out of them. Whereas if it's a book, you got to take it out and read it. If it's a record, take them out and play it. You could have a rare import album, but how often are you going to look at it?
What's the Ringo over your left shoulder with his hand up like that?
Oh, yeah, that's from the album Stop and Smell the Roses from '81. Too bad I don't have. I used to have it displayed. Oh God, it's just backwards. Over here. I used to have it standing up here in my older videos. Some of them you can watch. You see his full body. He's supposed to be a policeman, and I guess in it with his hand up like that. Stop, that kind of thing. And he's got the mustache going there. That's the porn star Ringo. It looks like Days.
Classic Ringo. What's the Broad Street thing just above your head as well?
Yeah, that's another stand-up kind of thing, which I really can't. Oh.
Hey,
it's a little bit more to it. I got movie material after that. I gotta get that stuff down. Planet of the Apes, the Three Stooges. I gotta get that stuff. Put more Beatles. But yeah, that's the same kind of thing. It's a countertop display. It goes on the record store counters, and you might be able to see next to Paul's cheek. There's a cassette box, but there's nothing in it. I got it without the cassette in it. So I need to get a Broad Street cassette. Anybody wants to send it to my record store as a gift, thank you. I'll take it. No, but I can get that easy enough. And then I got to put a cassette in there. And then I have it down a little further. I have John Lennon and Yoko Ono, just like starting over countertop display from 1980 in black and white. That, so cool. Well, I was 18 in 1980, and I became a John Lennon fan in '77, just when he retired. for music.
Mhm.
So I was like waiting. Nothing I wanted more than to buy a new John album. And I had my opportunity. And back then, again, with no internet or anything, we didn't see John. We didn't know what he looked like. It wasn't like it is today. It's hard to believe where you just see him all over the internet. Unless there was a newspaper article or something, you didn't know what even the guy looked like. And then one day when the single was getting ready to come out, that was on that display. The first look I had of him. It's the back of the album cover now that we know. And I said, "Oh, that's what he looks like now." Oh, cool. I remember that. But back to Paul. This is a
Here we go. Here we
unique
go.
item. Yes, go ahead. You have a question or something?
Oh, no, I was going to say, here we go. Let's gear up.
Yeah. This is a little story with this, not a big story, but I was at my record store again, and I was getting ready to go home. I think I had to get home, and they were getting ready to close the store, and some woman came in and had a bunch of Beatles related stuff to sell, and I saw something that caught my eye that I had to have, and I had to get it immediately, even though it was late and I had to get home, and even though they're going to close the store, I convinced the owner, to sell it to me right away. I've never seen this before. I let me know any of you if you have it or have seen it. It's a jacket, press to play jacket. Are you a person who likes press to play, Sam?
I love press to play.
Well, that's the sad part of this. I am not a fan of press to play.
You don't even deserve that, Joe.
Hey, I've said that many times. Those kinds of things. Oh, he doesn't deserve it. I deserve it. No, I know the feeling. But it's just a beautiful piece. I still collect everything. It's a Capitol Records.
Fucking hell! That's one of the standouts of this show. That really is. Oh my god!
Yeah, something different, right?
A press to play jacket.
Yeah, it's pretty. I've never heard of it before, and it's not a tour jacket. There was no tour, but it's a Capitol Records. All right, let's next show. This is something else I've never seen either. A friend of mine, and I've shown these in my videos because I do what I call new Beatles finds, and I have like 160 or so of those over the past 9 years. And he gave me a bag of all kinds of stuff, and this was in it. It's an umbrella, but it's first you can see it's got Paul McCartney. It's a Paul McCartney promotional thing. Paul McCartney. You can't really read all.
Macca.
And then when you open it up,
it's bad luck. Don't do it. You're inside, Joe.
Well, I've already opened it. Don't say that. I got enough bed. Come on.
Oh no! It's a pun on rain. No. Oh,
Driving Rain promotional umbrella, apparently. And you're always afraid when you're going to show things, whether on your show or even my own channel. A lot of people who make videos like myself say, "Oh, I've damaged things, by turning a page too much and tearing a little." It's like, you don't want to damage anything.
No, don't damage anything.
All right, so I got 2 items left. Boy, it went fast.
Oh no! I mean, just before we go on to the next one, is it just me, or is Paul's marketing department always the most on the nose thing ever? Like Egypt Station. Oh well, it's going to be a traveling thing. Then Driving Rain. We'll have an umbrella. McCartney 3. There's a dice on the front. We'll have dice. I don't know what Retro Speedway made them want to make a frisbee, but.
True. I wish I had that. I don't have that. But yeah, I was surprised. I mean, we're not gonna. When are we gonna get, if at all, McCartney 3 like Gambler's Edition? Roulette wheel, everything. Slot machines. I don't know with the dice.
Joe, I am not convinced that people in McCartney's management team didn't hear every podcast and make the joke that we're going to get a roulette wheel and went, right, cancel it, because everyone's already parodying the Traveller and Explorers edition. I mean, that early on in the McCartney 3 hype, I remember seeing an article saying, oh, there's like 30, 40 songs from McCartney 3 that could go on the album. And then 3 Imagined comes out and it's like, oh no, McCartney 3 was kind of in itself a bonus track and these are the bonuses. Come on, Paul, release the roulette wheel, give us the dice.
It's coming. It's coming.
Give in to the meme. If there's not a Frank Sinatra's party from the McCartney 3 sessions, I'm going to be so heartbroken. I enjoy Frank Sinatra's party. That's one of the.
like that track. Yeah, I like, that's a whole nother show. But I mean, I like some of the extras on there better than a few of the songs on each station, actually.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'd love to speak to the person who said "Do It Now" needed to be on the album more than Frank Sinatra's Party. Like,
Yeah. Do It Now. Yeah, I don't want to get into criticizing it, but it's okay, but it's not a favorite on that album for me, you know. All right.
I can't take the tension here, Joe. I really
No,
can't.
well, it's not that much. I don't know if this is unusual. It's unusual, but what I mean is I don't know if anybody else has shown you this. This is this is a Russian version of the McCartney album. But what I
Ooh.
especially like about it is the back cover.
Wait, hang on. It's oh my! I just saw it. Yeah, go on. Oh my gosh, it's yellow.
Man, I'm too fast. What
I
is that?
love
It sounds like something else, but I won't say what it reads as. I was going to make a controversial joke out of the title, but yeah, I like the yellow color. See, things like this, like I can't resist buying this because I like the wording up there and the yellow difference. If the cover's different, there's something really different about it, then I'm a sucker for it.
It's a very indescribable urge, isn't it? Like it's quite hard to explain rationally to other people who might be interested in your finances why you need this thing. Does it have new music that the other album doesn't have? No.
Right.
Can it do anything for you? No. Has it got a good resale value in a few years? Probably not. Then why do you want it? I just need it.
Right. Well, the way I look at that, Sam, of course, is, well, who cares about them? What we care about are people like ourselves. This is our circle, and we understand each other, and we agree with each other. We know why we have it. Luckily, I have a girlfriend who's very supportive of me. She actually encourages me sometimes to buy things that including the big new George Harrison box. I said no. After like three, she kept saying, "No, you're a big fan. You love the album, and you have to have it." And she kept doing that. So that's just why she's a keeper. But I know I was going somewhere and I forgot again. So we all understand each other. But the other thing is, this is always the way I rationalize it to myself. I don't smoke.
Mm-hmm.
I don't drink. I mean, when I say I don't drink, I mean there's going to be a 4th of July here, barbecue or something. I'll go and have a few beers. We go out to a family gathering. It's a hot summer's day. I'll have a few beers, once or twice a year. But I'm saying, I don't indulge much. So the thing is, to me, well, that's my vice. People spend. I know a guy, I won't mention who spends $300. I think he said $300 a month on cigarettes. But the thing is, he'll be very picky and say, "I'm not going to buy that. It's ridiculous. That album is ridiculous. It's too much money." Great for you, but why don't you just quit smoking and you can buy some of these things? Everybody's different. You decide what's more important.
No, I couldn't imagine anyone who would rather drink alcohol than.
Have another one.
Or Beatles product. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Now,
let's see you next time. I'm fine.
Yeah.
I'm fine.
Because my whole life I've always gotten a high on stuff I like. I mean, not just like collecting stuff, but I used to be into comic books, or whether I'm very much into horror films and horror magazines. And were you the one who we had a joke on social media about King Kong versus Godzilla? Was it you?
Possibly. I love
somebody,
that movie,
and I said, "Oh, we got to talk about that one day." If it was you, I don't remember, because I I love that stuff. Frankenstein, Dracula, King Kong versus Godzilla. That's how I get to be a kid again, and how I enjoy myself. All right. So if we want to move to the last item I have, I saved. Hopefully, is this the best? I don't know. We'll find out. One of the things I want to do as a fan is meet Paul, meet Ringo. It's too late for John or George. I did attempt to meet John Lennon one time, but back in those days when I was younger, it was like you didn't go into Manhattan by yourself, and I didn't know how to find the Dakota Building or anything. So in 1977, I was just like 15, and I was able to get a group of friends that were like the Beatles, and we took the pilgrimage to New York, the Dakota Building. And long story short, the doorman told us that John was not there, that he was in Japan. We didn't at the time. We thought, oh, he's just lying to us. But it turns out history shows that John did go to Japan in '77. So, yeah, it was bad timing. So the reason I bring that up is, so I said, well, I'm going to try. I want to meet Paul, and so again, we talked about how some people don't understand, certain things about fans or collectors. Well, why would you want to go through all that? Well, as big a fan as I am, I would want to take the time to try to meet Paul, for example. And I don't mean stalking or anything. I have to say that because I think other people are going to guess that. Oh, so you stalked Paul, did you? I have to jump the gun there. So let's get to the point.
I mean, I have had people on the show who have stalked outside his house and gone through his bins only to find other people already waiting for his bins.
Oh,
Yeah. No, you are relatively normal on the scale. Don't
okay.
worry.
So I mean, so what I finally did was one time. Well, the time I'm talking about in particular was February of 1993. Off the Ground was the album that was released, and he was in New York City doing Saturday Night Live, and I waited there a couple of days, not consecutively. One day for a few hours, second day a few hours. Went home in between, but I saw Paul both days. But Paul wasn't really interested most of the time in stopping. So he would come in and out of the hotel. I knew his hotel. I found out his hotel from the Circle. And I waited out there, and it was, let me tell you, Sam, it was cold. It must have been minus 21 degrees or something. It was really one of the coldest days I can remember this story. And it was the story I'm going to tell is the same day that he did, if you ever saw, I don't know, the Chris Farley show, Jokes Around with Chris Farley.
Oh, you mean that's really cool.
Yeah, that show. This is the same day as that. Okay, that's the evening of this day. So I have some photos that were taken. Like, say, first I'll show the photos. This is me trying to get an autograph, okay? But what happens is they had police barricades on the sides. There's the front door of the hotel and obviously barricades. You could stand on either side of the barricade, And sometimes there'd be like 3 fans there. Sometimes there'd be 20 fans. It would change over the course of the day. And Paul would come in and out. Like this picture is him. He's going out one morning, like 10 a.m. for a jog. And it's freezing now. So he goes out with the sweatshirt. There's his bodyguards watching me or whatever. And he comes out and he gets in the limousine. And he was out for about maybe half an hour, and then comes back. And he was every time he would come out, he'd be cordial. He would say, good morning. Hey, Paul, Paul, good morning. And he'd go in, just go in his limo, and the limo would take him to, I guess, Central Park to jog. And then he'd come back and he'd say, hello. And it'd be like an hour later, hello. And he'd come back, take a shower. 2 hours later, come out, hi, good afternoon, and go out and go somewhere else. Maybe rehearse Saturday Night Live, go to lunch, go to dinner. And all these, I call it a cat and mouse game. So after many times of waiting for him, I said, I joked with the fans next to me. I said, what can I say? So I said, I know. I'll tell Paul, please, I came all the way from Canada. I don't know I don't know. I'm geographically incompetent. I don't even know if that's a big deal.
I like your moxie, kid. You got a lot of spunk, kid. I like it. I like the plan.
I'll say what I got to say, right? So I said, so one time he comes out and I go, Paul, please, can I have an autograph? I came all the way from Canada. And he stops and turns and as he's getting into the limousine, and this is the picture of him, like he's about to talk to me. And what he says to me is, first he goes, did you? Did you? And I thought, oh, he's impressed. Then he shrugs and goes, I came all the way from England. And goes in and leaves. That's a famous story that I tell. And it's like, I turned around and I said, did he just diss me? And he goes, yeah, I think so. I said, wow, I can't. And I said, what am I doing here? I said, but then I thought, what a cool thing. Other people have told me, says, oh, that's the Beatles humor. That's so cool. He actually spoke to you and he made a joke. I'm like, yeah, all right, whatever. But anyway, so now to get to the end of the story. Finally, he came back. I'd say about 3 or 4 in the afternoon. He decided he was going to sign. He was going to sign autographs. But what he did was, because it was so cold, he told his assistant John Hamill at the time to go out and bring in the items, and he'll sign in the lobby, which is what happened. So John Hamill came. It's not exactly the way we wanted it. So he took everything from everybody very kindly, brought it in. Paul signed it. Then they were handed out. And I have a picture somewhere. It's not included here, where Paul came out afterwards. He's going, "Okay, you got it. Everybody got it. You got it." And everybody, yeah. So he actually confirmed that it was him. Now, what I gave him to sign, let's see if I get this all in here. I had met Linda twice on the 2 days I met Linda. I can't say enough sweetheart things about her. What a class act. What a lovely lady. What a sweetheart. She posed for a picture with me. I have it over there. I should have had it ready. I do not have it ready, but people have seen it on my channel, so she was nice enough to pose, and she signed. What she had signed is a tour book, and I wasn't into records then. I could have had a nice album signed or something, but instead I had to sign this, and I'll show you in a minute, because my talk about moxie. What I thought I would do is, I thought if I told John Hamill, could you have Paul please sign here next to his wife, because it's got both of them in the centerfold. I thought maybe I get a nice signature, because Linda had signed it, and he loves Linda, and that's what happened. So anyway, let me try to get this in here. So it's a nice full signature, no Paul by itself, no Paul M or a mess, underlined and everything. And there's the Linda one. Love, Linda McCartney. She had signed it first. So that's what
that photo as well. What an incredible photo to have her sign as well.
Yeah. And I got one.
Is that from the New World Tour or the 93?
This was from 1989, 90. Wow. Because 93 is when it hadn't yet done that in my area, hadn't yet toured, I don't believe. So there. And oh
my God.
And I'll tell you something else. Yeah, I love it. I love it. So I think it's authentic, but there's one more story to this.
No. John Hamill can do a very good Paul McCartney signature. Paul
but like
was in the jacuzzi by that time,
Yeah. Seriously though, all kidding aside, I worry about that because technically you didn't see it, but the thing is, he did come out and did say, "Okay, you got it, everybody." That was good, and it was really a fast matter of like 20 minutes. Mm-hmm. He went in and then came out in 20 minutes. It wasn't like hours later. He came in and went back out. Now, the last photo I'm going to show in the interim, okay, I talk about how desperate you are. I didn't even think. I was wearing
I've come all the way from Australia, Paul. I've come all the way from Australia. I've come from Mars.
Right? Yeah. I come from Mars to meet you. I was wearing a leather jacket, and somebody said to me, you might want to ace the leather jacket because leather and animals and all that. I didn't even think of it. So I'm freezing my what off, all right? And when he comes out the second time, one little kid, he's asking everybody, "Did you get it? Did you get it?" One little kid says, "I didn't get one. No, I didn't get one. I know this kid because we were talking. This kid is a decoy to an autograph dealer. He's an autograph dealer's son." Okay? So Paul actually comes out and nicely for this child turns around and signs the autograph. As he's signing the autograph, I am trying to lean in for the picture, and there he is. He's signing for a little kid, and that's me trying to lean in to the picture just a little bit. Now, I mentioned the jacket because I'm wearing a vest and a spare sleeve. I took my coat off. Not to offend him because I'm wearing leather. How ridiculous. But you do what you got to do, right? So if I'm not going to tell people, "Oh, this is him signing this autograph, you see? This is the provenance." If I ever want to sell it 30 years down the line, I'll use this as fake provenance. But no, that doesn't even look like me. But, I didn't wear glasses then. But anyway, yeah, so that's me. I love it. But I thought that would be a good one to cap it off at the end. So, yeah.
Absolutely super duper there, Joe. Thank you so much for showing me.
Yeah, someday I'd like to have a nice one, 5-second thing. Hey, Paul, great album, McCartney 3, love it, great album, thanks. It'd be great to have a nice experience like that one day, but we'll see. If it's meant to be, it'll be.
If I ever get an audience with him, because everyone at Capitol's so happy about this show, obviously I'll try and get you a +1.
Oh, please.
Definitely.
I was almost going to go to the Hamptons on Long Island. I saw a picture that he was in the Hamptons, and I thought maybe I'll go to the Hamptons and just drive around a little bit there, in different conditions, nicer weather, And I know a guy who is an autograph dealer and who's gotten there with his autograph before. And he says, "I'm going to tell you right now," he says, "don't waste your time." Don't even waste your time. And I believe him,
Especially when he's on a holiday, because he seems to only be interested in taking bad paparazzi photos,
Oh yeah, and I've seen a lot of things too on the internet, and I have some videos there, where he's not in the best of moods when people try to intrude on his privacy,
No, I've seen a few of them where someone follow him around. Look, I've given you what you want now. Please leave me alone. Yeah,
I love the way you do that. That's a very good impression.
Yeah,
I do that recent Paul voice myself. Sometimes I do that. That's not an insult.
I found scratching your nose really helps. It really helps get you into that character actor mode. Yeah.
Yeah.
Trying to slip into it, but I've always found here in the UK, Paul actually sounds less Liverpudlian and more like he comes from mine and Denny Lane's neck of the wood, which is Birmingham, that kind of just a bit slower, a bit more positive inflections at the end. But I'm sure I've just lost all of my Liverpudlian fans for that. Joe, thank you so much for coming on, dude. We're going to have you on Paul or Nothing proper to have one of my stereotypical 3-hour conversations that go absolutely nowhere, but yet mean absolutely everything. I doubt we've even touched 5% of your collection here today, but your attic is clearly stocked with some fine choices, I must admit. I've been very impressed with this today. I've been blown away by your selections, and thank you for sharing them with me and my audience.
Oh, great. I had a good time. I knew it would be fun.
Oh, I knew it would be fun as well. I know I've had so much fun, and I know everyone else here has today. Joe, thank you for joining me on another episode of Macca in Your Attic. We'll be back next week where another guest is going to show me their junk. But until that time, motor cars, handlebars, bicycles for two. We've seen the junk. Let's get out of here. Play us out, Denny. No more autographs. Peace and love.
Thank you.